I'm going to do a review of my 332. I've had it for about 2 weeks now. And I think I put about 10 hours on it. And haven't had any issues with it. It's a 1989, the 46-inch deck. It's in really nice condition. It's never been repainted or anything. All original paint. All the tires are original, except for one. That front tire right there is not original. But back tires are original, and as you can see, they still have a pretty good amount of tread on them. And they're not weather checked or anything. And front one has a decent amount of tread left on it, but it has a little bit of cracking in it. You can see there. And I'm not too worried about it. You know, it's not like it's a race car. I'm not going to be going 100 miles an hour, so I'm not too worried about that. I got this, I live in Missouri, and I went halfway across Kansas to get this. And honestly, I paid $3,200 for it, but it's in such good shape, and I think it's worth it. But you know, I overpaid. I got to looking at that 322 that I had, and on camera it looked good, and it was in decent shape, but I got to looking at it, and I realized I think it had a lot more hours on it than what it said. You know, if you look at the power steering cylinder on this, it is clean, and that 322 was, I mean, it wasn't that shiny, and the bearings were out of it. I had to replace the bearings at 300. I mean, they weren't out of it. They were still functional, but if I would have continued using it, then they would have locked up. And so the bearings were out of it, and bearings don't normally go out at 370 hours. And that was my first time buying a garden tractor, so by looking online and stuff, I've learned a lot more since then. And the guy that bought it from me, I lost a lot of money on that 322, but there was another, it's a funny story how I got this. There was another 332 on Craigslist, and I thought, maybe I could sell mine and get that. It was in pretty good shape. It had 900 hours on it, which isn't real high. And so I put mine on the internet, and a guy called about it, and I told him, he said, what are you getting rid of it for? And I said, well, I want a 332, and he told me he knew a guy who had this one who was looking to sell it. So that's how I got this one. And a lot of stuff, you take pictures or videos of it, it doesn't, you see it in person, and it doesn't look as good whenever you see it in person. But this really looks just as good as the pictures. And it's really good on diesel too. My 322, I mow a few yards, and 322 I'd burn, if I filled it up, I would use a 5-gallon can of gas about every week. This, I've had it, I just filled it up the other day, and my diesel can wasn't empty, and it took me 2 weeks to burn through about 4 gallons, not even 4 gallons, 3 gallons of diesel. And I just went ahead and filled it up. But this, another thing is whenever I got on this to try it out before I was going to buy it, this had the same amount of hours on it as my 322 whenever I bought it. I mean, exactly 373 hours whenever I got this one, and 322 had 373 hours on it. It said. This one just felt a lot tighter and a lot smoother. And it wasn't to me that I just wanted a diesel, because I was fine with a gas engine. There's a plus side to diesel and a plus side to gas, and they're just different. It depends on what you want, but the reason I wanted this was because it looked so good, not necessarily because it was diesel. And I liked the diesel, but it wasn't because it was diesel that I got this. One thing I'm gonna get is the belly pan that goes right up in there. It does not have that because I did not know this until the other day, but the 322s and 332s had the option to get that. Well, I'm pretty sure that the 318s, all of them had it. And I want to get that because, the radiator is, hold on. The radiator's right there, so it sucks stuff up from the bottom, and it can also suck it in under the engine and into the radiator, and just a lot better if I have that so leaves and grass don't get in there. And now I had 373 hours whenever I got it. Now it's at 386. Then good. I changed the antifreeze in it. I drained it. I have a video on that. And really, I like it a lot. Would I recommend people getting a 332 over like a 318 or 322? Just depends on what you like. Some people don't want a diesel, and I particularly do not care, but some people, they don't want one, and as I found out, diesel is very messy. I didn't realize it was that messy, and I found that out. But and the belts the other day, the only thing I've had go wrong with it was I was mowing somebody's yard. I just started on it, and well, my belt to my mule drive decided to give out on me, and I never checked them. I was gonna replace them this winter, but it went out on me anyway, so I ripped the deck off and replaced both belts, and that's all that I've done to it, other than change the oil, drain the antifreeze, and change the belts. Those are the only 3 things that I've done to it that I can think of. And somebody said to me, they said, well, why don't you replace that seat? It's got a crack in it. Well, I don't really care, honestly. Not a big deal to me. And this winter, I can't wait to plow snow with this. This is going to be an upgrade from what I had last year before I got into garden tractors. I had a John Deere LA 145, which is just junk. And I use that to plow snow, and in Missouri where I live, we haven't had, my grandpa says we used to have winters like what we had last year all the time, but we don't normally get as much snow as we had last winter, and I made lots of money, but I just beat it to death. I mean, I made my money back on the mower for what I made with snow, and then I sold the mower and made $1,000 profit off of it. But I would run into some piles of snow so hard with that thing. It was so light. It was only like 500 pounds. And I'd run into piles of snow with that thing so hard, the hood would come up sometimes, and I really beat it up. I don't know why I didn't mess something up on it, but this will definitely be an upgrade. And got a snow plow, well, under this tarp. But there's my snow plow. I don't really think I have anything else. In one way, I don't know if it's a good idea. Not that I don't want a mower that looks this nice, but I just don't know. This 332 is in such good condition. I've been kind of babying it because it's so nice, but you know, at first I was like, I don't really know if I want that because that's so nice. You know, I mow a couple yards with it, and I think what I might do is, here in a couple of years, if I get some more yards, I might just get a 0 turn and keep this, just maybe plow snow with it and stuff, but not use it a whole lot. And but that's it. Also, if you don't know this channel, John Deere Garage, go check out his videos, because he makes some good videos. And right now his 318's getting the engine rebuilt, and he sent it off to get the engine rebuilt. Now he's having transmission problems. He's got a big leak in his transmission, but just go watch some of his videos, and that's it.